Buddy.
Hello, Cynthia. How are you?
Fabulous.
Hello.
It's only 102 today.
Wow.
We're usually in the 90s. But it's been hotter. How about everybody else?
Wow.
Yeah, I was just mentioning I'm in Canada and we had 47 last week. So we're up in the hundreds too right now in BC.
Oh,
Whoa.
wow.
Crazy. Yeah.
We're in BC. I used to love. I've been
It's
up
in
there.
Kelowna, British Columbia.
Oh.
We're like in a
Oh, I
little.
love British Columbia.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's beautiful
In
here.
the car.
John's driving.
John's driving.
Yes, I'm driving right now. Hey guys. Oh, actually,
Hey,
I'm at a Six Flags location in New Jersey. It's called Great Adventure. This is what it looks like in the
Okay.
parking lot. This
I've
place,
been there.
Awesome.
I haven't been here since I was a child, and my daughter is here for.
So are we riding on the roller coaster today?
What was that? Yeah, you know what? That would be great if I could host. Let me see if I could place this phone so I don't have to hold it. I make you guys dizzy. Or we could do that. I could just have the phone going like this the whole time. And you could all throw up, and you'd be like, "Oh, we're having the experience too." We're actually live. Welcome everyone, because I went live a couple minutes early because I was fiddling with buttons. I've never done this from the iPhone, and it seems to be working. Looks like we're live on YouTube. Unless,
Fine.
of course, we're not. Then we're not. But I think we are. So good to see you all. How's everybody today in the heat?
Staying
Yeah.
cool, baby, not working out in it.
Yep. So we're dealing with it. I don't know. Must be all those SUVs. Yeah. Global
Is there a
something. I don't
new
know.
meaning? Is there a different
Yeah.
meaning for SUV?
What's the new meaning for it?
I don't know. That's why you said all those SUVs. I just wonder.
Oh, sport utility vehicles, which allegedly, despite millions of years of Earth doing just fine, because
Yeah.
you drive an SUV. Now, of course, now it's a problem.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that and cow farts. I hear the cow farts are the cause.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I was
something.
thinking it was both those, but maybe you had there was a
Oh,
new.
okay. Yeah. No, we'll survive, I think. So good to see everyone. Welcome to our daily success call for Tuesday. Tuesday, is it? Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah.
13 July 2021. John Lavetia here with you and with Crystal and Karina and all of my favorite people. Hello. Where's our co-host? I know Missy's got to be here somewhere.
Yeah.
She's, she's very reliable, which I
They try to
love
say.
about. Yeah, I love about Missy and anyone who's reliable, right? So you guys know, some of you I mentioned to you just kind of jokingly that we have 3 policies for this forum, for this call that we do every day. Policy number 1 is if you can't be on time, be early. And you guys have learned why, right? Because what happens before the meeting could be pretty profound, right? People helping each other, right? Tips, ideas, whatever. That could also be after the meeting, right? Because once we close this room, shut the live stream down, the room just regenerates. You can go be in the room again if you want. Go do whatever you're going to do. Now, don't spend all day just kibitzing with each other, right? Get some work done. But this room's here for you. And that's why I got it set up the way it is. Admin has it on auto record, which we don't need because we do YouTube, but they auto record anyway. So whatever, they can go ahead and have their Zoom account filled up with automatic recordings of whatever's happening. Second policy. All right. So if you can't be on time, be early. Second policy is that if a dog barks while your microphone is unmuted, you must present the dog so that we can all enjoy the dog. Okay. So that is actual policy here on this call. So just so you know, we're all dog lovers. At least a lot of us are, and we like to see your dog. And then policy 3 is that somebody's got to tell a joke on Friday. Fridays are fun Fridays. So come with a joke, wear whatever you want, funny hats, Hawaiian shirts. I think you guys saw me wearing a shirt and tie the other day because it was the first Friday of the month with my master group. We do formal Friday on the first Friday of the month, just because none of us work in an office anymore. Right? We don't remember what that is. I got this enormous collection of ties. Like there was a time in my life where I wore ties every day, right? Suits, right? The whole thing, showing up at the office, got to look the part, blah, blah, blah. I made way less money then, by the way, way less money. Okay. Nothing wrong with ties. You want to look sharp. Okay. Gentlemen, right? But yeah, we make more money now. We don't don't wear ties. I actually have to thank Steve Jobs for a lot of that, because late Steve Jobs, he wore what? Blue jeans and a black turtleneck every day, right? He's on stage. Here he is, one of the richest guys in the world, CEO of one of the most powerful corporations. And he just doesn't, he doesn't want to encumber himself with, oh, what tie should I wear today? That's actually something we could take up here, is the idea of decision-making and decision fatigue, which is something that he found a way to sidestep by just deciding, all right, that's my wardrobe. Buy me 20 shirts, 20 pairs of jeans. There it is. Decision made, right? Because how many decisions do we have to make before 8 o'clock in the morning? Great question, right? So in my case, as you know, I'm wearing a black polo shirt. That's just easy for me. I got a whole rack of black polo shirts. Some have little embellishments, like a little branding, Smith and Wesson or something, because I'm into, guns and Harley Davidsons and whatever. So, but as long as it's a black polo shirt, sign me up, right? I'll take one of those. There may be one here at Six Flags. I don't know if I'm going to give my money to them, but whatever. I've already given them enough money. My wife and daughter are in there riding the roller coasters and eating the funnel cake right now. So, but the idea of making decisions and the necessity of doing that. And I know this is something that some of us have talked about, those of you who've been through the entire accelerator process and gotten onto and qualified for and have been invited to, and were able to schedule a business launch strategy session, which at this point is a really big deal. I know a couple of you are going through that today. That's a really big deal. And we definitely are going to touch on decision and decision making in there, because when we think about what we're doing, and this was a topic that I was we kind of danced around it a little bit yesterday when William brought up the idea of, where I think he was going was, greed versus, like just being successful, capitalism versus socialism, stuff like that, right? So we can go down that road. It's a pretty interesting road that induces a lot of opinions. But clearly, all of us here, all of us we've made a decision that we would like to do something more entrepreneurial. Okay, great. So entrepreneurship. And there are people who are critical of that, right? These are people who are more about, you're just a cog in the wheel or something, right? Collectivists, we could say, who think that's like a cult, the cult of entrepreneurship. I actually heard that come out of somebody's mouth. The cult of entrepreneurship. I'm thinking that sounds pretty insulting. Okay. But if not for the entrepreneur, if not for all of you, which I celebrate, okay, people that are willing to, well, by definition, an entrepreneur is someone who assumes greater than normal risk for the purpose of business and gain, right? And profitability, right? That's what an entrepreneur is. It's in the dictionary. One who assumes greater than usual risk for the purpose of business and profitability. If not for you, then what? Where's the innovation? Nothingness, right? And you could certainly see cultures, societies that have not embraced the ability of the individual to create, to innovate, to be self-expressive, right? And have attempted to, even eradicate that, right? And look at how they're doing. That doesn't work out so good, like ever in history, ever, because there is this thing called self-determinism, which you can't eradicate. I mean, you're all individuals. And with that acknowledgement, there's decisions that we each get to make or not make. And you've all made one that I know we all have in common. And that is to go ahead and make something of yourself in terms of your ability to participate in this now global economy, seemingly global, right? Using technology and to do what? To offer something of value, something of benefit to people who voluntarily want to exchange with you, have some of this money, which I do not want this money. I want that benefit more than I want this money. Please take some of this worthless money and give me the coffee cup, the t-shirt, the thing that has struck a chord with me as an individual. I don't like that other design, but your design, oh, I can't live without it. Here, have $30. Thank you, right? That is the beauty of life. People talk a lot about, the diversity. Right now I'm watching seagulls flying overhead. They're looking for free food. And I'm sure they're going to find it considering my location. But there's all the, the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, the people of the earth, 7.5 billion of us. We can look at this as variables, and there's a whole lot of variables. And with that, there's a lot of different combinations and combinations of decisions we can make in terms of our own ability to be creative and to put something out into the marketplace and to fetch, a higher level of income unapologetically. Okay, because you can do a lot more good with money than you can without, for yourself, for your family, for those who perhaps have not had the education or the impetus to go ahead and do what you're doing. Perhaps you could set a great example for them. That's kind of where we were going yesterday. I know if it wasn't for the example set for me, I wouldn't have survived, right? Because my life was a wreck 35 years ago and whatever, right? So thank goodness for people who made more resourceful decisions than I was able to make at the time, who could demonstrate to me, guess what, man? You can be wrong. In fact, here's a more right way that you could do things, or not, right? There's the gutter, do whatever you want. But I had to make those decisions. Has anyone here ever dealt with someone who was addicted, right? I know we're going kind of far afield from business right now, okay? But have you ever dealt with someone who was a drunkard, drug addict, right? Where you could see, let's say that you're not a drunk, okay? And you could see, my goodness, you're killing yourself with these mind-altering chemicals and drink and what have you, right? So obvious. But when you're in the thick of it, can you make the decisions subjectively, right? That you can objectively see. You can, from the outside looking in, you can objectively see things that the person who's in that can't see or doesn't want to see. Decisions that they're unwilling or unable to make at that moment, right? So what does that mean? That means that the individual is of prime importance, and your ability to make decisions that are going to move you, your family, and the rising tide lifts all ships, right? And that is going to move society forward. And next thing you know, you've got a whole fan base, not because you've taken from them, but because you've exchanged abundantly with them. Their life is better now that they paid you the $30, the $100, the $1 million, the whatever it is, for the benefits that they wanted more than that money. Now, most of my experience is in way, way higher ticket stuff than, t-shirts, coffee cups, memorabilia, customized, what have you, right? Kind of print on demand kind of stuff. Okay. I've dealt mostly in information products, intangibles, educational programs, seminars, events, $30, $50, $60,000 plus. Okay. Because people, look, what is Tony Robbins' platinum plan right now? Anybody know who Tony Robbins is? One of the most famous motivational guys and whatever. I think it's 60 grand, maybe 100 to go hang out with him, in Fiji for a week or whatever you're doing there. Okay. Right. People pay that all the time. Didn't Richard Branson just collect tickets? He was just selling tickets for the spaceship ride. Was that $250 to get on that boat ride? $250,000. We're going to do the space ride thing. It'll probably work out. Give me $250,000. Sold. Here, I don't want this nasty $250,000. Give me that ticket. Okay, so this is called free enterprise, and we're all engaged in it. And it's beautiful. But to make that workable, to make that profitable for you, there's lots of little decisions that you get to make along the way. How do you show up in this meeting? I know this is a tiny, tiny little one, but that's why I'm back to the Steve Jobs example. That's a decision that was fatiguing for him. You know what? I've already made the decision. Black polo shirt, or, that's me. Turtleneck. I hate turtlenecks. He liked turtlenecks. Okay, black turtleneck, blue jeans. Who cares? Who cares? Right? That's not part of the value proposition. People aren't paying to look at my wardrobe, right? They want machinery that works, right? I'm talking to you on one of his products right now. It's called an iPhone. Fantastic. Okay, so what decisions have we encumbered ourselves with that perhaps we can put on autopilot? All right. And I'm going to go deeper down this rabbit hole in just a minute. Okay. And what decisions have we perhaps practiced avoidance with that we've been putting off? One of them that we haven't put off is that we're going to engage in business. Well done. You're all here. Fantastic. So let's look at the gravity of the decisions that we could choose to make moving forward. Because here's the thing. All of this is based on purpose. If you think about everything that you're doing right now in your business, it's all based on an overarching purpose. Here's the carrot. Here's why you showed up in the first place. Here's what you want. And some of you are pretty vague about that. And we're going to get unvague about that because we can't be vague. All right. So we're going to polish that carrot, make sure we know exactly what it is. Okay. And here's the course material that you've got. Let's say at the bottom of the pyramid, there's the tactics. Here's the how-to strategies, the nuts and bolts training, how to do it. Right. Nice. Okay. So what's in between purposes and tactics? Right in the middle of the pyramid is strategies. These are the decisions that you make, which now you can pick up tools and tactics and whatever to fulfill those decisions, those strategies, which are all on purpose. Remember, there's the pyramid, right? Purposes, strategies, tactics. All right. A lot of people get really encumbered with tactics. Hey, when should I do the thing? And like, how many times should I click the button? And oh my goodness, having been around sales and marketing and this whole space as long as I have, I've heard so many questions that really didn't have to be asked, because the how-to kind of takes care of itself when you've got a purpose and when you've decided on a strategy. So there's that word again, decision. Decision comes from the Latin root word decidere, which means to cut off from. It's a cutting off point, decidere, to cut off from. So that's the gravitas, if you will, of the decisions that you're choosing to make. Those things that you are spending or investing your attention on. Should I wear the black shirt? Should I wear the tie? Okay. Is that worth your time? Steve Jobs says no. I say no. Okay. As long as, you make that decision once. Okay, fine. And by the way, I'm not saying that you all got to go figure out one shirt you're going to wear. Just for me, with the amount of live streams and broadcasts and stuff that I do, not just here in this community, okay, but in my work and what I do, right? So I've made some decisions that I think are right there. That's fine, good enough, whatever, because here's the actual product that people are interested in. Here's the content. Okay, so that's something that I spend a bit more time on. And again, what's that based on? That's based on the result that I seek to deliver known benefits into the public, the audience, the customer base, the client, and to have them know also, not just me known benefits, but they know that they receive benefits, right? So we're all in, to whatever degree that we recognize this, we're all in the business of delivering benefits to people who want them. The late Jim Rohn said, if you want to increase your income, increase your value to the marketplace. Increase your value to the marketplace. So within that strategy, okay, increasing value to the marketplace, there's lots of little decisions that we can make, tactical decisions, okay? Have we put off? Now, again, thinking about what a decision actually is, have we put off making other decisions? Like, really, when I look at everyone who's becoming successful here, you've got a common trait with all of you. And I'm starting to see some very pleasing statistics that people are now getting things done. We're seeing people making their first sales. Now, of course, this is a rather new group, right? None of us knew each other, a month ago? So this is pretty profound. Okay, but here's a common trait that I've noticed with everyone who's getting on with it, who's experiencing, as we talked about yesterday, the progressive realization of your worthy ideal, your purpose. Common trait is you're all decisive. All of you who are getting it done, you are decisive. You don't practice work avoidance or decision avoidance, which is rife in the world. That is the most common thing ever. The average American watches 7 hours of television a day. I heard someone say that this was a guy who was a Google AdWords expert. He taught people how to operate with like Google advertising and stuff like that, and navigate the many perils of Google advertising. But he made a very interesting point. He said people go to Google to make decisions. People go to Facebook to avoid making decisions. And that was his argument for why you should be advertising on Google and not killing a bunch of time on Facebook. Now that tune may have changed. Okay, but it was pretty catchy. Obviously, it stuck with me. But decision avoidance is a very real thing. And for every single one of you who are getting on with it, whose statistics are increasing, whether that's financially or not quite yet, but dones, right? Different things that we're accomplishing. Every single one of you have become decisive. A cutting off point, right? There's the root of a decision. Okay, now knowing that that's got some gravity to it, what decisions could you make that would move yourself not just incrementally forward, but perhaps exponentially forward? to give yourself a completely unfair advantage. I mean, if you're going to show up and you're going to do this thing, well, half measures avail is nothing, right? Well, let's do it then. That's right there, right there. And every person I've worked with, not just here, because again, this is a new community, okay? But the fields that I've worked in, online and offline, where people have really made their mark, made a spectacle of themselves. Every single one of them made a decision that they're going to play to win, and they did it at the outset, promptly. Again, not decision avoidance, but you know what? This is like the most important thing in my life, because it feeds into all these other areas. We could say, oh, my most important things in my life, my spirituality, my family, right? These purposes, right, that I've decided on for myself, right? That's why I'm doing all of this. Okay, great. Well, can you do that more fully, with some jingle in your pocket? Again, no apologies, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and let's deliver greater value into the marketplace. And therefore we must increase our income. That's just, we're actually talking about here is the law of exchange. Think about it like the tide, and then I'm going to open it up. I'd love to hear your comments on this, and what decisions you've made or could make that could advance you in business and life, and also advance others, because you're not an island, right? So rising tide. But think of the tide. So the tide goes out and the tide comes in. In fact, there's a rhythm to that. And a lot of us here have experienced the tide going out in our life, in our business, in our economies, right? The word economy, in fact, came from the idea of management of household resources. That's where that word comes from. So the original meaning of economy is, here's your household, here you are with your garden, your farm, your oxen, or whatever, and the management of those resources, right? Here's the seed crop for the next springtime. Here's the storage. Here's the, watering the cows and milking the chickens and do whatever you got to do, right? Obviously, I'm not a farmer. Milking the chickens. All right. So milk the chickens, right? But that's part of the economy of what? Of effort and of resources. So you're managing resources. Okay. But there's a rhythm to all that. And so, but here's the thing to understand when we're talking about exchange. As much tide goes out, has to come in. So you can't just sit there on the shore and say, I want the tide to come in, damn it. Where's the tide? I want that currency, right? Currency, which could be money, right? That's a type of current, right? I want the currents to come in. Well, what do you got to do if you want the currents to come in? Outflow, right? Value out, value in, right? Exchange. And this is law. This is like, you can't break the law. You can only break yourself against the law, right? So you got to make a decision. And clearly, this is a decisive group when it comes to, let's go ahead and let's do something to cause value in the marketplace, which is subjective, by the way, right? You may not like that coffee cup. I love that coffee cup and can't live without it, right? So we're not talking about needs. We're talking about subjective value, perceived value, okay, which is quite real in the mind of the perceiver, okay? So, wow, that is a great hat, t-shirt, coffee cup, whatever. Okay, fantastic. Here's some money. But we're talking about putting out there greater current, outflowing, because we know those who outflow must inflow. To increase your income, increase your value to the marketplace. Outflow, right? And when does the tide come in? Well, we know when the tide goes out because we're going to make it go out. Okay. And if you've been at this stage, let's say in your attempts at being an entrepreneur or whatever, and you've seen, not much tide coming in, not much of that currency. Okay, then what we got to do is we got to make some decisions. Now we're getting into the gravity of it. Okay, we got to make some decisions that will cause more tide to go out, better, stronger, faster, ways that we can implement without as many delays, stops, stalls, secondary and tertiary decisions, right? What can we do to deliver value more fully and expediently into the marketplace, and that it's known in the marketplace? These are the decisions that successful entrepreneurs make, and this is what they invest more of their attention on than, what color tie should I wear today? Which again is a silly little thing. All right. But tell you what's not a silly little thing is you actually reaching your goals decisively and definitely and expectantly. Like there's no mysteries about this now. Like this is going to work because you said so, and I said so, and Rachel said so. And it's with that spirit that you move forward, and you really kind of have no competition at that point. It's like, wow, I know who you are, and so does the marketplace, right? That's powerful stuff. For me, that almost gives me the chills sometimes because I just think about where would I be had I not gotten decisive in my life. Napoleon Hill in his classic book, Think and Grow Rich, wrote a whole chapter on this. I know that's not on our initial reading list because it's a bit more intense, than what I recommended for you, like Miracle Morning. I hope you're all going through that and actually implementing it. That's a high integrity book, by the way, right? That's like do this, 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 and this. And if you do it, you have integrity to those ideas, however they work into your life, right? What he calls the savers, his savers, scheme, right? Great. Run it. That's some good programming right there, right? That you're giving yourself, right? So if you're having integrity to that, right? And then you're going through, let's say, another book like Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, which is another book that will help you make sound decisions based on your purposes and to formulate strategies. So you can use these tactics to great effect, right? So Kiyosaki, right? He's talking about the mindset shift, between employee versus, like entrepreneur. Very, very big jump, right? Very different approach. Well, if you implement these things and you have a reason to, right? And you get decisive about that, you're going to have a completely different reality than someone who's trying. There's that word, right? By the way, if you ever hear that word come out of my mouth, you deserve to tell me to put $1 in the potty mouth cup. Yeah, the integrity jar, right? Try, is that what you just said? Okay, so you're all welcome to hold me to account for that because it's almost eradicated from my vocabulary. Although I do have to, interact with other people who still think that word has a worthy definition. My favorite definition of try is to fail with honor. That's what try means. Do you ever hear somebody talking about decisions and indecision? And then I'll get back to Napoleon Hill. Do you ever invite somebody to a party and say, yeah, I'll try to be there? The translation is under no circumstances will I possibly be there. Like, that, right? That's what try means. But back to Napoleon Hill. He wrote a whole chapter on decision, which was one of the 13 principles and factors that he noticed in all of these top, monsters of industry. So back in the early 1900s, guys like William Wrigley and Charles Schwab, Henry Ford, Tom Edison, and of course his mentor, Andrew Carnegie, the first billionaire. And he said that every single person who he studied, who he lived with for like 20 years, interviewing these people, finding out what are they doing, every single one of them have formed the habit of making decisions promptly and of changing those decisions slowly, if ever. Like decision made right now. And that's it. Don't turn your back. Don't turn your back, right? That's it. We made a decision. That's a cutting off point. Remember, cut off from, the cedar to cut off from. He said, people who fail to accumulate money, without exception, have the habit of making decisions, if at all, very slowly. And they change their minds quickly and often. That's pretty black and white. I mean, there's nothing vague about that. That's pretty unvague. So we got to get unvague. We got to get specific. We got to get decisive. Because if not us, then who? There's plenty of other people getting decisive right now. You want to play that game? Well, let's get in the game then, decisively. That's what's coming up for me today, you guys. And where did that come from? I can't even blame Missy for this topic because I didn't hear a word from Missy on this. but yeah, you guys are amazing. Really glad you're here. I got a whole crowds of people, and I don't know if you're seeing this, but entire families with strollers and hooray, Six Flags. But you see how much I love you guys? I'm here despite roller coasters being right there. I'm going to go experience that. And funnel cake. I'm going to have the whole experience. I'm going to eat the funnel cake, I'm going to ride the roller coasters, hot dogs, probably not hot dogs. I don't know if I can bring myself to do that, but we'll figure it out. Who's got some ideas on this? Please come on out. I can't see hands right now, people raising hands. So just, if you want to unmute your mic, all I can see is a little screen right here. So who's got some ideas on this?
Hi. Oh,
Go ahead.
hi, it's Crystal here.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go
well,
ahead.
speaking of decisions, like I've been away for a while, and basically because my job entails it, I work with young children one-on-one. So we started up another resource house. So basically getting all the ducks in a row, so it can basically run itself now. So what I've decided is I've earned this time, so I'm going to take a little time off and focus on this. I think I deserve it. Everything's running smooth, and that's a decision I'm going to make, right? So
Beautiful.
people can do it for me. That's a tough one for me.
Yeah, that's not my strong suit either. I'll
Yeah,
tell you
right.
what, Crystal, delegation. Oh, I'm going to go away now. What? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go Crystal, says Leslie. Yeah.
So
Well
that's my
done.
plan. Yeah.
Yeah. And think of the leverage you can get by delegating and then by focusing on here's this new endeavor, right? And let's get this into momentum, right? And now you can maybe introduce something else, scale up. I run 4 businesses. Some people consider me a madman with that, but hey, I love it. I love my work,
Yeah.
but you got to get things into momentum, and it requires
Right.
attention. You only got so much attention. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Glad you're here, my friend. I think I saw Missy as well.
Well, I was going to say, I, did make the decisions to do this, and I did not look back, but I do have, I'm just going to say for the other people who may have this, I have a history of indecisiveness. So that's going to be, I will overcome it, but I got to catch myself. Usually when I'm tired, I can't, I don't make right decisions. Or if I have equal information and I don't know which way to go, I feel like a chicken without its head. But I know this is changing me, because this is not about the goal of, yes, I want that house, and I'm thinking of why already. The second house, I'm doing that. That's my carrot. But this is about my personal transformation. That's what it's all about. I just read something today in the miracle equation. Your goal is not your goal. Your goal is just what gets you to become the person who can get the things that you want. And that's what I have to do. And this decision was one of the best decisions of my life, to join this program.
Wow.
So but I do have to get very serious, and I have to reread that book, Napoleon Hill, because I don't remember it. It was a long time ago.
Right.
But now I'm going to read it with different eyes, because I'm a different person.
You know what, Missy? I went through that book word for word, the original text, which is the one I recommend you read. We're talking about Think and Grow Rich now. So you get the original text from 1936, 37, right? And I went through it with my mastermind group. We did 1 chapter per week. So there's 15 chapters. And we studied every word so we could actually put it to use. And people were like, oh my goodness. I've glanced through the book before. Yeah, that sounds great. Nice. All right, what'd you just read? What'd you just, well, that was a week ago. No. Right? Where's the integrity in that? So yeah, that book is more intense, which again is why it's not on our initial reading list. But everyone, ultimately, you got to read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Holy crap. So that and SGR, Wallace D. Wattles, Science of Getting Rich. Yeah, must reads. So
But
anyway.
I believe that these things, this is science that we're talking about. It may be philosophical, but there is a science to it. And it's like a chemical formula. If you do it, you'll get this reaction. If you don't,
Well, it's like the tide.
Yeah.
Right? It's a tide. You can sit there and argue or get philosophical and lofty or whatever, but there it is. Just look, tide goes out, tide comes in. I mean, right. Okay. Work with the law. That's lawful,
It's a
right?
law.
Working with
Yeah,
the
it's a
law. Right. So, and I know people come up with all these ideas now because it sells books or whatever. The funniest one I think is John Maxwell. He's got some good stuff too, but the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. I'm like, all right, man, 21 irrefutable laws. Okay, got it. All right, sell me the book. Sell me the book already. So glad to see you, Missy. All right.
You didn't see my
who else?
dog.
Yeah, your dog. I see the virtual dog there. He's got
Okay.
flowers in his mouth. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. All right, Natasha, you got some words for us?
Yeah, actually, I was able to coerce people to join a WhatsApp group from the UK. There's about 10 of us in this WhatsApp group. And for me, it's been amazing because where you may struggle in one area, someone has already gone through it, and there's lots of discussions, lots of positive words and sayings, and just people really pushing each other rather than pulling, which is really good. When you see someone else that's, they've already listed 10 items, I know it gives me the drive. Okay, I've got to make sure that I do that as well. And it's been, for me, I think it's been fantastic. It also, we're all on the same time zone, so I found that quite useful, that we're all on the same time zone. We all have the same coach as well. So I'm finding it really useful.
Good.
And it might be
Good.
worth trying that with other, like the Australians, for example. It might be worth Australians trying to form a WhatsApp group like that, simply because of the time zones can be a challenge at times. And not everybody can get to certain meetings. So it's also good to reflect on, key nuggets that have been told throughout various meetings.
Right. Good stuff. If I could offer any suggestion on that, is just kind of have like rules for the group. Like, don't let it turn into like a Facebook group where a bunch of people griping about whatever with no locks on it, stuff like that.
No, it hasn't been like that at all. It hasn't been
Well,
like
right
that.
now it's small. You got 10 people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
true. Yeah.
Right. Good. And personally, just so you guys know, you'll never find me on WhatsApp, but you will find me easily on Skype. I live on Skype. And I know that's antiquated according to a lot of people. Oh, now and I use Telegram as well. I don't use WhatsApp. I kind of hate WhatsApp. But Skype, anybody needs to reach me, you will find me on Skype. No problemo.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, and good to know that you're taking the initiative. You see that? You know what? I'd like to have a bit more interaction with some of my countrymen. How about we do a WhatsApp thing, right? Okay, great. Let's do that. Done. That's leadership right there. Well done. And did you initiate that, Natasha? Was that your?
I did.
Your deal?
I did.
Natasha.
But it wasn't for me. It was to try and, to be honest, because I like to start things, but I'm not the greatest finisher. And I know that. So I was hoping by doing a group like this, it would allow me to stay motivated and ensure that I follow through.
Right.
So it's helped me a great deal to stay competitive and, to maintain that drive level.
Beautiful. Well, I started this group, which is also something I benefit from. Do you think this is all about you? No, I get to hear all kinds of reminders. I need reminders all the time, right? So thank you guys for being here for me, right? So thank you, Natasha.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
No
And thank you
problem.
for taking the initiative. All right. Any other thoughts today? Thoughts?
Hello?
Yes. I heard.
It's yes. To Natasha, well, actually it goes back to William yesterday. And Natasha's point brings it back around too. And that's the thing that you, John, have touched on several times too. And that is, there's a measure of satisfaction or fulfillment with things and ease. And you reference the coconut drinks on the beach. But really, it's back to what Natasha's talking about for me too, is beyond that, beyond the things. There's the accomplishment that you've done it, and there's the contribution that you've made, not only to your life, but to everyone else's life that you touch. So it might be your family, but what's the greater, you spoke about Carnegie and these various other people that, we all need reminders of, if we've heard them. I need to read Think and Grow Rich again too, Missy. But there's the bigger thing. It's bigger than us, right? So what do we contribute to this world? What do we contribute to make other people's lives better, or bring other people joy or happiness? Or, I know that sounds like an old person talking, but you know what? It's true. all the stuff is not as satisfying as what you can bring and be a part of with other people. And to Natasha's point, in the contribution and the interaction with one another, that that feeds me, because even like with this group here, you know, it's like that outside of my box, right? And so it's looking at the bigger perspective of things, whether it's selling somebody a mug that they enjoy, or a gift that they'll give that someone else will enjoy, right? It's about, I got to be a part of that. And both for my sake, but also for the contribution that it would make. If we all don't contribute, we're just consumers, right?
Right.
Like you said with the tide, right?
That's it.
So there's fulfillment in the contributing, or the contribution part of it, the contributing part.
Yeah. It sounds like you're somebody who loves you love your work. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. It's not
Yeah.
really work though, right? That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Everybody goes back to. It doesn't become work, it becomes what you enjoy. And so, yeah. What motivates
work
you?
is on
Back to
purpose
the law.
action.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yep.
Does that mean I have to have all these opinions about it and evaluations and whatever and add all this meaning to it? No, it's just work. It's work that I chose. I love this. This is very purposeful for me. Fantastic. Right.
It's enjoyment, and in the same time, you're bringing a contribution to all of us, to everybody else's lives that you touch. And there's fulfillment in that, isn't there?
Totally. And so your coffee cup on the desk of the person at the office that just brightened the day of the other guy. I mean, think of the butterfly effect. You guys know the butterfly effect. So the decisions that you make today can have this, broad reaching effect a year from now or whatever on the other side of the planet or something, right? How do you know? Right. So reach, so do it, execute, work. It's
Yes.
beautiful. Yeah.
Be decisive. Go for it.
Go for it. Right? Oh my goodness. Thank you, my friend. So glad you're here, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I'm so glad I'm here too. All of you. It just feeds me the input and contribution, the discussion. I really can't tell you how much it means. Thank you all. And John, especially you.
Awesome. Hey, I see that there's like 2 hands up. I don't have the controls here, guys. So just manage
Alana's
yourself.
here.
Hey,
Alana?
Alana, how you doing?
Great. Julie and I, you talked about decisions. We formed our LLC yesterday.
Wonderful.
Oh,
So that was a
Yay.
decision, and we're happy to be in business. And thank you for your support, and everyone here, all your support and concerns really means a lot.
beautiful. Congratulations, Alana and Julia. Awesome stuff. One step closer, right? We're getting the
Yep.
logistics handled. Good times.
Thank
All right. Anybody else? Come on
John?
out. Yes, Leslie.
Leslie, hello. I just wanted to say, I really think, like, for me, what's up is the law of momentum. And for a little bit, I've just been absorbing. I'm brand new to all this. So I've been taking a little time to absorb it and figure out flow. And so I've gotten my LLC going. I've gotten the email flow set up like I want. I'm getting Etsy and Amazon today and tomorrow. Anyway, it's all going. And I think it's a lot due to like this weekly call for me. I feel like it's kind of like you catch a river or a wave and it kind of picks you up and then it just gets the momentum going. And I'm kind of feeling that. So I just wanted to say thanks. I think this group is hugely useful. And I think, I'm just going to ride that law of momentum and take off.
Beautiful. Oh, wow. Thank you, Leslie. Well, that's exactly the intent, right?
Yeah.
So think of it like a flock of Canadian geese, right?
Mhm.
And so like one goose, and maybe I'll fly here, maybe I'll fly there. But like when we've got, direction, a plan, purpose, right?
Mhm.
These geese, they cover so much ground because the one in the front goes honk, honk, and they go honk, 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 right? And when
Yeah.
one of the front gets tired, the other one takes over and they're still going at the same speed. It's like remarkable, right? So honk, honk, baby. That's why we're here. Keep on honking.
Honk, honk.
Yeah. By the way, Leslie and everyone, if you got any like feedback, praise, love, ideas, John's awesome, whatever. But anything you want to send in, John L at knowledgesource.com.au. This whole operations out of Australia. So John L, that's me, at knowledgesource.com.au. Please send in, feedback, ideas, questions, topics you want covered, praise, more praise, right? All that kind of stuff. We read all of it. So
Will do.
thank you. Thank you, Liz. All right.
Uh-huh.
I think there's one more hand up, perhaps. Another
Hey,
hand.
John, can you hear me?
Yes. Ishmael.
Yeah, it's Ishmael. Hey, how are you?
Awesome.
Well, let's see. The battle with Amazon is over. I'm finally in.
Call the press, everyone. They let Ishmael in. All right.
Oh my God. So yes, finally everything's starting to come together. So I guess eventually I'll have everything up, which will be fantastic because I'm tired of fighting with Amazon.
Right. Yep.
For some
Yep.
reason,
Well, that's-
Amazon kept thinking that I wasn't really a U.S. citizen. I don't know. I kind of gave up after a while. But
Okay.
thank you for everything. I mean, yeah, everything's starting to come together. All the positive reinforcement. I mean, it was just, it kept me in check. I mean, there's some days that I just wanted to just say no and just run away screaming, but you kept me motivated. But thank you.
Beautiful.
I
Thank
will
you,
be
Ishmael.
here, and no, thank you, because I'll keep coming here till the wheels fall off, man.
All right.
I'll
Well,
keep coming. I'll keep coming.
Good. Do that. You're quite welcome. That's Ishmael, everyone. He's got an Amazon account. There you go. This is just the beginning. Yeah. Good to see you, brother. All right. Anybody else
Thank you.
before we wrap up and I go eat funnel cake and ride roller coasters? We're good? Everybody good? Okay. So I'll be back here with you tomorrow. We'll go ahead and wrap up with that. And then I am flying on Thursday, but it's going to be at night. So I'll be here with you guys. No problem on Thursday as well. Hey, let's have an awesome day and awesome rest of the week. Okay. You all deserve it. We'll see you back here real soon. All right. Bye for now.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.